Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a spiritualism Lyceum night, being broadcast from our wonderful church down here in Poole, Dorset, the Poole Christian Spiritualist Church.
Turn it down, Celia.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's right. I'm in my home tonight. It was going to be in the church, but we have the medium for the weekend has been delayed in turning up, so I've got to be on hand just in case they turn up during this evening. Anyway, big warm welcome to a wonderful man. First met. How did we first meet, Bill? I don't know.
We
Keith.
did an interview with me and Keith, didn't we?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. So first met Bill back in 2020. We did a series of programs on developing your mediumship. It was over 5 weeks, and we covered a different topic every week. Since then, I can't get rid of the bloke. I've tried everything in my power, and he still keeps phoning me up. I'm joking. Yeah. Oh, not now. Joking aside, Bill and I have got, I think, a very good working relationship. We can talk about things openly, plainly. We've actually met now. Bill and the lovely Celia came to our church, and you're back here 4 weeks today. How exciting is that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I know. Well, you are really pushing the boat out. We've got a workshop with Bill during the day, a den in the evening, and then our divine service in the morning. So we've got a weekend. We're going to be build right up. So that's absolutely wonderful. So Mr. Bill Rich, very well-respected medium from the Essex area. I know that through your glowing commendations of people who have seen you work and churches and centres where you've worked also, and actually seeing you work here at Poole, we like Bill. We like Bill. And we like Celia as well in the background.
Yeah, don't forget Celia. I'm never at the end of it.
No, you better not.
So, good evening, everybody joining us tonight. You have your peers in the room tonight, Mr. Rich. We are with the lovely Jack and Lola over in Denmark.
Hi, guys.
Arisha down in wonderful Cornwall. It's probably Devon. She's going to shout at me for that. Mary Dixie, Margaret, Sue Townsend, Jamie Williamson, Phil Shaw. So welcome everybody, and all those. Irene Bunce as well. Good evening, my darling. So welcome to our evening. We've been discussing tonight for a couple of days, and it is still a little bit fluid of where we're going. We've had several ideas, and we haven't quite got there yet. But
Working on it. It's a job in motion.
Definitely. We're going to look for the inspiration tonight and where we're going on this Lyceum night. Bill, sir, with yourself, we have come through these very torrid 2 years of churches, centres all being shut or open when they can, or shut for the duration or whatever. But this huge disruption to our spiritualism, understanding and philosophy. And we are now sort of like emerging from the wreckage. I'm surprised, but I understand there are good reasons. I'm still seeing places only now just reopening. That's how much of an effect. Yeah, that's how much of an effect it's had. We've had the advent of the online mediumship and spiritualism, which Bill has partaken in to some degree. And you are now working, I believe, with private readings online as well, are you not?
Yeah.
Well, you're all grown up, Billy.
I'm growing up now. I'm becoming up to date.
Yeah.
Under the days of smoke signals.
He's a clever boy, then. But Bill, I know through our many conversations we've had, you and I've seen it reflected in other mediums as well. This re-emergence that we're seeing, it's not very cut and dried, is it? It's not like somebody's just flicked a switch and we're all back to normal. You know, so much change.
When I think before the lockdown come, I think and looking at the mediums that are on here tonight, probably experience the same thing. You get into this roundabout, this rut. You're here, there, not really thinking about what you're doing and trying to grow. And I think when lockdown come, there was a time for reflection. You know, you had time to weigh up within yourself what you are, who you are, what you want to be. Where has it gone? Does that make sense?
Hugely. Yeah.
To me, sorry guys, but I'm going to say it. If you know me, you know what I'm like. I'm straight. I looked at it and I thought, is it worth it? Is it worth it? What have I've got a lot out of spiritualism, but I felt as though I've missed a lot. And it made me think of something that I remember an old saying, you know, spirit is sorting the wheat from the chaff.
Yes.
Right? I remember that saying, and I was told that 30 years ago. I actually think that come about in that lockdown. I think that was the sorting process, and it made mediums realise and look at themselves and say, who am I? Not what I do, but to remind ourselves of what can I do? Where do I want to go? What is it about? And coming back now out of lockdown, I've kind of realised that the churches and the centres haven't evolved. They've not grown. They're still maintaining and holding on to their glory days. And they're not adapting. And it hurts because, as any of us mediums know, you mention something to a church, especially churches. I'm sorry if I'm picking on churches, but I'm not going to pull away from it. Oh, no, we've done it like this for years and it's got to change. And I think it's being reflected now that the attendances are low. Attendances are low and the churches are not offering. And I think as mediums through this lockdown, it's what have we got to offer? And it made me realise that if spirit and spirit communication is going to survive properly, it comes back down to the teaching. Right? It really comes down to the teaching because, you know, I'm not being funny. Please don't take this egotistically. If I want a chair, I can go to IKEA and get one that's mass manufactured. But if I want a special chair, I'll go and get a joiner and have a bespoke one. And that's the difference between what I'm noticing then and now. Mass-produced mediumship for the message. No spiritualism is involved in it, really. And I think that is very, very sad. I really think that's sad because I had this conversation with someone the other day and they said, where can you see it in 10 years? And I said, centres and evenings of clairvoyance, because the churches, they're not off there. I think I said to you the other day, they don't understand what people are searching for. And you've got a generation now, youngsters that are coming through. They're not interested in the hymns, Laurie. They're not interested in philosophy so much. They're interested in who am I? What am I about? Why do I feel different? Why do I feel these things? That's where I feel the change is, and it's not being catered for. And there, at the end of the day, they are your seeds of the future. You know?
Yep.
Go on. No, I think this has made me realise that, you know, I've spent 28 years of working with spirit, but the last 2 years of really growing with spirit.
Interesting. Yeah.
I really feel that. I don't know if any of the guys out there tonight agree with that, but I look abroad and I see And I see everyone, the places are setting up abroad. People have got motivated. They're bringing the true teachings of spirit in. And here in this country where we're inundated with it, we're going backwards. I really do. And if I've upset anyone, I apologise, but that's how I feel with it.
No, these evenings are for people to air their views and debate, everybody. We welcome healthy debate on all our topics. You brought up so many points there, Bill, going back over them. Sadly, to a degree, I do find myself in agreement with you that, and we've done it here at Poole, we are not innocent. Pre-COVID, it was, I know I've said this before, because I say it because I mean it passionately.
Yeah.
Bill, thank you. We've had a lovely night of mediumship with you tonight. Tears and laughter. Next week, we've got a really good medium. And we were doing that 52 weeks a year.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I think that's the most annoying thing you can say to a medium. You might as well just say to them, well, we've had a crap medium this week. We've got a good one next week. And that's how it comes across. It just smacks you.
As from the medium's perspective, I've been on the receiving end of that, and just sort of like I have my humour deals with everything, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But actually, on an energetic level, we became, and as I said, Paul, we are not innocent of this either. Pre-COVID, it did all become about the message. I've served places, and only do 10 minutes of philosophy because that's all they want. This cry about bringing in the younger generation, I heard that when I was 14, and that was a few years ago, not that many. But anyway, I heard it then, and I'm hearing it now. However, from the churches and the centres perspective, I do realise, and I fully feel their pain, that when we did try to change things, it was met with an awful lot of resistance.
Yeah.
And I have experienced this personally, and speaking to other churches and centres online, because of the changes that we've done at Poole, I've become a little bit of a drop-off point, and people are asking me, how have you managed to do that? How have you worked that with your congregation? In
that case, then I think it's time to embarrass you.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, I'm going to do that because I like that. Some lovely comments on there, Darren and Joanne and Phil and that.
Yeah.
I was wondering where spiritualism's going to go. How is it going to evolve? What's the next creativity? What's the next project? Well, sorry, Laurie, you're the trendsetter.
I'm one of many. I'm seeing.
I think you've united spirit in a way that has brought together. And look at the list of names that's here this evening. Well-known people that have just come in. I want to be here because Laurie's got this on. It brings different mediums together, different perspectives. I'm not alone no more.
No, they're all too mean. They're too mean to take their partners out for a Saturday night meal. That's what
I know that, but I'm just trying to be nice. Do you know what I mean? Right?
But thank you, Bill. That's appreciated.
No, I genuinely mean that. I saw when we first did the interview, me and Keith with you, watched you change, watched you grow, watched Poole Church elevate, right? And uniting mediums. And that's where I think a lot of this needs to come from now. Mediums need to come together, exchange views, exchange experiences, give a feeling of you're not alone, I can help. And I hold my phone's there. If someone was to phone me up, anyone, I don't know all the answers. And if they said to me, Bill, I feel like giving up, I'm banging my head against the wall, any tips, anything, I'll listen to that person. I'm not going to be on there for hours. I'll make a cup of tea. I'll help someone. You brought that together. You brought something that people are not afraid to ask. And that's what this movement needs. There's a unity that needs to come amongst mediums, because churches won't do it, Laurie. Centres won't do it.
Yeah.
They're there for themselves, you know, and that's a sad state of affairs.
Well, thank you for those words, Bill. It is I'm learning to take compliments, but I'm not doing very good at it. Darren Turner, lovely Darren Turner, who I had the pleasure of meeting last week. He is working here with us over a 6-part course on psychism, and what a great man. Darren, I'm going to embarrass you now. What a brilliant teacher. You know, he really taught people in there, and I just applaud that. We have an amazing philosophy, religion, understanding, way of life, whatever your terminology. We get too hung up on words sometimes. But we need the teachers to match. And where we are seeing now, and through the advent of being online and being able to communicate, we've got lovely Jack in the room tonight with his lovely partner Lola. You know, Darren, Reverend Ashley Oliver has just come into the room. Phil Shaw, you know, these people are teachers. They've got, I had frightened myself today. I was thinking, how long have I been in spiritualism? And I thought, oh, good God, it's like 30 years. And I was shocked. But it was a good grounding for me to say, well, do you know what, Lauren? You do know some things.
Yeah.
Not, but I do know. But, you know, this is part of it. The message to me has always been like the icing on the cake. It's the thing there that pretties it up. I know evidential mediumship will do a lot of healing, will bring around reconciliation and everything. I'm not demeaning it. However, I think from the spirit point of view is, right, we're going to give you the healing through this message, but also there is that other message as well of, well, if this has happened to Great Aunt Dot, you know what, it's going to happen to you. So do you know what? Don't you think you should start investing time into understanding what it's about?
Yeah, I think sometimes you, as a medium, I'll be honest with you, Laurie, I think sometimes being a medium is the loneliest job out of the lot.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what the other guys and girls think about this, but I think it's sometimes the loneliest job in the world, because there is no immediate answer. And I carry on from what Mark said a couple of weeks ago. You know, we put this facade on, here I am happy, blah, blah, blah. No one has a clue what I'm going through, or anyone else is going through who's working. We still go through the turmoil of life. We still put ourselves out to help, and it's taxing. You know, there are two, I say there's a word that is never used very much to describe being a medium, and it's called burnout.
Yeah.
You know, mentally, physically, spiritually. But somehow we dig very deep to overcome. And all these guys here, and they are named people, yeah? Right? Hi, guys. I respect every single one of you. And I respect exactly the same medium I've never heard of if they get up and do the job properly.
Yeah.
It's not the message, it's the evidence within that message. The evidence of survival, which is what we strived for. And unfortunately, as I said, I go back to the mass producing, we're creating now something that we're creating a monster. In certain ways, that the training, the education, and like you said, the lovely words with Darren, that's what we need, the teachers to teach people and say, yeah, rather than go to psychic line, go to spiritual line, put the time in to learn it.
Yeah.
Because it's a lifetime's lesson. You know that.
Very much. I'll just bring in a few of the comments coming in, because they're coming in thick and fast tonight. Thank you, everybody. The one highlighted at the moment, as I say, from Darren Turner. I think part of the problem is that people are frightened to change. We have to change as we evolve spiritually in churches and as mediums.
Totally agree. I totally agree. I think change is the hardest thing for all of us to accept. I think change is easier if you've got people that will support you. It's not so hard. Would you agree with that?
Mm.
You know, changes. Yeah, we have to change and we evolve and we grow spiritually. But sometimes I think I look at people and you see potential with them, but they don't want to put their head over the pulpit. Does that make sense?
And also having the opportunity to be encouraged along that path.
Yeah.
You know, I, as you know, with Poole, our workshop list this year is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that from an ego point of view. It is. It's. Do you know what? I am so proud of this year's calendar for teaching. And I'm recommending people to some of the courses on where they are on their path. I'm also saying to other people, I don't think this is for you because this is going to be too advanced for you. You know, you need to do whatever. Or actually, have you looked at the healing courses? Because I feel there. And it's engaging with people. But again, going back to the comments here, Phil Shaw from London, too much DFS DFS. I've got it now. Too much DFS, lackluster mediumship since start of the pandemic, and the learn mediumship in a weak mentality. Your words ring true, Bill.
That is. I'm going to say something, because I'd love the feedback for the people on this. I think I said it to you earlier on, Laurie. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
A lot of us, when we work, right. Yeah, some go professional. You take a fee from a church centre, your own hall events, whatever. So you're semi-professional, right? Whether you do it full time, that's down to you, right? But you still got to have insurances, public liability, indemnities. You've got to have all of these things that you have to put into place for yourself. Okay, I get that. So when you look at it now and you look that you are covered, you've now got, like Phil saying, this rush of people coming into it thinking they're going to earn fantastic money at it.
Mm.
And they're looking at saying, yes, I'm going to make this my job, right? And you've got these, as Phil said, lackluster, weak, psychic, whichever words you want to use. And I'm not in it for a row tonight. I'm just being straight. They don't offer the goods. They're ill-trained. They can't do the job properly. But there's no one regulating them, Laurie.
Yeah.
There's no regulating powers on this. It's like I could apply for a job as a brain surgeon, right? What's your qualifications? Qualifications? Have I got to have any? Well, yeah. Well, why do you want to do it? I fancy doing it. That's the kind of medium that's being created now, and I think it's dangerous because they don't take into account, A, you can be sued, right? B, you can cause irreparable damage that you can never put right.
That is the nub. That is
it. The responsibility of what you're doing, you are playing with people's lives, emotions, and then to stand there and predict, right? You're building up, so you could be building up false hopes for that person.
Yeah.
And destroy a life. And I think this is where spiritualism has to change.
Yeah.
You know, it has to change. I mean, guys, you're listening to this, you tell me what you think. I think because there's going to be one day, there's going to be a serious case come up in it, and we will be looked at. It is inevitable. It will happen. Yeah.
While we're waiting for a few comments to come in on that theme, just backtracking here. Joanna Lewis, the lockdown gave me the opportunity to look within and do a lot of self-healing. Meet and work with my guides, be creative, do a lot of writing, have time to love myself more. I saw a lot of people helping each other and God's big teaching of discipline. So many positives came from the situation. I fully agree, Joanna. There were many positives.
And one thing that stands out with that is work with my guides.
Yeah.
Work with my guides. We are so connected to our guides. They influence, guide us, inspire us, help us to open doors, escort us across pathways, yeah? There was no excuse that we haven't got time to sit down. I don't get time to meditate. I don't get time to sit with my guides. We had that time. And I think that gave, in my case, it gave me that time to make a stronger connection to spirit. I'll be honest with you, Laurie, I think when I come back to mediumship from the lockdown, I think my mediumship was stronger.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can honestly say I personally think it was stronger because it gave me the time to reflect on not what spirit wanted me to do, but what I wanted to do as well.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be stronger, and that's really important. And when that lovely comment there about the guides, I think, yeah, we had time to sit with spirit. You know,
Very true.
if we can learn from spirit from what we learned in lockdown, I think we will become stronger. But you touch an interesting point. As you well know, Laurie, I am still on text messages and smoke signals. Right, I am not the most compliant with computers, as everyone will laugh, right? And you have been badgering me for ages. Do Zoom, do this. I still can't do Zoom, but there you go. But I started to do some readings and worked out you can do them on WhatsApp, Facebook, whatever. Yeah. My God, what a difference it made.
Yeah.
Did it slap me in the face big time?
Yeah.
Because I'm an old dinosaur, and I will admit, friends, I was guilty of holding myself back to adapt and a change. Right? And there I was, New Guinea. I was done one the other night in somewhere in New Guinea. I might as well been standing there in their house. It was no different from having that person sitting. And I thought that has proved to me how much spirit's evolved as well.
Yeah.
Here we are. We don't need the person in front of us. We can do the same job across the other side of the world. And that showed me that spiritualism can grow and will get stronger in that department.
Yes, definitely. It's Pandora's box. It's open. It's not going to be shut.
Yeah. I can't ever see the lid coming down on this.
No.
I think people now know, and spirit know, we can get that person to work in Australia and they've got to move no further than their front room.
Yeah. And
still do the job. There's nothing ever going to replicate, in my opinion, of being in front of people. But it's a Lyceum, and it's about learning and talking and understanding, trying to learn. I can see a lot of places closing, Laurie. I think people are pulling away from it. Sadly.
It is sad. It is sad. And I know a lot of places are struggling. But we've got to look at what we're doing and be honest with ourselves. I need to catch up on some of the messages coming in thick and fast. Jamie Williamson here. He's saying, I agree, mediums need to lead the churches, not the churches lead the mediums.
I like that.
That is very interesting, Jamie, because in this area, I have seen now 4 churches whose figureheads are working mediums. And I found that intensely interesting, that this suddenly sort of like spun on its axis. And this is pre-COVID. Suddenly we had working mediums running churches. And I thought, that's interesting. That's not an accident. That's a design. Sue Townsend's got a question here. How do you feel spiritualism reaches out to the many people who are soul-searching in order to awaken to their own self-realization? Although they may not use these terms, are being encouraged to discover their true being and their truth.
That's a really deep one, that one, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
I think to soul search, and I use that word, to look deep within, it's easier if you're connected to spirit to be able to look within and understand. I truly believe that. And It's a hard one. And so, to be honest with you, I don't think I can really answer that one, because I think that one has so many doors to open to it. You know, I think as mediums, we do a lot of soul searching. I really do think, I think sometimes we work more within ourselves, looking, trying to get better and understand than we realise. Does that make sense?
Very much. When we finish working, what's the first thing we do?
Criticise ourselves.
Yeah.
We criticise ourselves.
I should have done that. I missed that. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And we do, don't we? And this is, again, where this time has helped us. And you pointed out something tonight, Bill, actually I'd not considered. The fact that we are now able to have evenings like this, not just here, in many places, and just talk. Yeah. And it's sort of like this mediums peer support group thing that's evolving, which I think is so needed. It really is needed. I put a post out the other day about who heals the healer, because be quiet. We're going to just shut up now and move on to the other comments. Lovely Arisha, just reiterating, it is very isolating at times being a medium. And she goes on to say, a teacher can give you the tools to be a medium, but when it comes down to it, you have to work at it yourself.
Totally
very true. Yeah, very true, Arisha.
You can take someone through Circle, a good student, time served, dedication, devotion, all the criteria. You can give them the tools. You can't make them a medium. They've got to experience it. You can't make a medium. They grow with spirit until they're ready. And you give them the tools to be a medium. You have to work at it. And that's the beauty. It was the one thing I was taught. Your message was brilliant, but can you do it better?
Yeah.
You know, that was great, but can you make it greater? My circle leader taught me that. Never accept where you are. Always aim for the highest that spirit can take you to.
Yeah.
Because you'll limit yourself. If you don't work at it, you stagnate. This get me in trouble, and I think a few mediums would possibly. Hi, Arisha, we will meet up in May. I'm coming down your way.
There's going to be an angry mob of spiritualists outside.
Yeah, I'm going to be burnt in a caravan or something. Yeah, the Wicker Man. I really, really cannot emphasize enough that you have to work at it, because part of our spiritual journey is not being just given the tools, someone holding our hand and doing it for us. We have to do it ourselves. And sometimes it's a painful exercise, falling down, picking ourselves up, dusting ourselves down, looking within to try and repair damage. Spirit are there with us, but that's what makes us a stronger medium. I personally think. I think it's a very, very good comment, Aisha. I like that one. Yeah,
everything is a lesson. If we can adopt that mentality, let's not, I had a good day today, I had a bad day today. You had 2 days. 2 days of different lessons. It really is as easy as that. Wonderful comments coming in here. Where were we? Darren Turner said he agrees with you, Bill. And I don't know what part of it all that was. Probably what you called me.
I know, it was polite.
Lovely Mary Dixie saying, I have found on occasion that in just typing a WhatsApp message to someone, that suddenly I've had a message from Spirit to pass on. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get that? Lynn Clark, this is good. I like this. I like the simplicity of this statement. If absent healing works anywhere, then so can evidential mediumship.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Let's come down to the basics, shall we?
Uh-oh.
Right.
Do I have to put out a warning? No persons under 18.
Yeah. Jack, it's your time for the beers. Yeah. What is spirit? Spirit is energy, right? It is energy. It's our energy joining with spirit to make that communication. Absent healing is healing. It's energy. At the end of the day, spirit use energy. They give us signs that they're here by using energy. They use our minds. Mental mediumship, it's energy. So yeah, I agree with Lynn. So can evidential mediumship. I'll tell you how this is. Here's a point for you. Before the internet and before really sort of getting onto telephone readings, people used to do written messages. Right? That's how they used to work. You know, can I ever send me a picture? And they would give you the most fantastic message, yeah? And I've known mediums who've done this, fantastic messages. Some would argue, yeah, well, what they're doing is they're linking, you know, psychometry to holding the picture. I've seen it done where they've just written a letter with nothing. They don't know you, don't know what you look like, and the message is fantastic. Why? The linking to the energy of spirit.
Yeah.
Mental mediumship. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Jamie Williamson has been reading my mind.
Yes.
Gents, do you think that there is any significance at this time in the increasing use of soul appraisals as a means to understand where we are in our development as mediums?
I'm going to go to Phil on this one with his comment as well, because they tie in quite nicely. I have had the privilege of sitting with some fantastic trance mediums. And I'm not on about there's been not one single element of doubt in my mind as a medium, they were full trance.
Yeah.
And I've had the appraisal from a guide. Now, when you've got a lady that's sitting there and she's an elderly lady, very softly spoken, and she's talking very vehemently and as deep voiced as me, you're talking to spirit. It was that evident. You could feel the power. And like Phil said, in trance, yes, you can get a proper appraisal, help, guidance to where you are in your mediumship pathway, yeah? So I agree with Phil, in trance, it can, and it is very, especially if you've got a good trance medium, I agree with that. When you're saying with the with what Jamie's saying, our soul appraisals, this is going to get me in trouble. I think there is a lack sometimes of communication between ourselves and our guides.
Yeah.
Because I'm lucky, fortunately, I can hear my guide like I'm talking to you, Laurie, yeah? I have that one-to-one. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's a bit weird.
Guide here.
Right? I'm clairaudient. I can hear my guide. And if he would say to me, when I say, where am I, whatever, appraisal, I'm lucky. I'm touch wood. I'm very lucky. He can say to me this, he can say to me that. Yeah? So I get that appraisal. Not everybody has that, but here's the human side of me. Sometimes I don't want to hear it from my guide. I want to hear it from someone else's guide. Does that make sense? That's me. So, yeah, I think appraisal can be important. And I think sometimes people look too much into it, as in seeking it too much. I think there's a line that you can get to where you cross and you become reliant on these appraisals.
Well, as I said, Jamie there is reading my mind, because part of the program here this year at Poole, I'm not plugging, this is just fact. Several of the mediums coming down will be doing spiritual assessments, soul appraisal, spiritual assessment.
Yeah.
You say there, Bill, that White Wolf?
Lone Wolf.
Lone Wolf?
So you've only just annoyed him. He come and haunt you now.
I know you will. He's done it before. I similarly, and I'm sure many people out there have also experienced that. You get these words from spirit, but you have your human mind comes into it. Is that me? I'm not, is that what I want to hear? Or your human mind gets into it. To me, if you have these from a third party, a disassociated third party, we've got the likes of Leonard Tack coming down. He's awesome fella, awesome. Tim Abbott, wonderful Tim Abbott, and several other mediums will be offering these spiritual assessments or soul appraisals. And I think it is really needed by workers for spirit. Just reconnect where we are. You could have something said. I've not had one myself yet, and I'm dying to have one.
I offered you something when I come down, didn't I? I actually said to you that if you had a few people that wanted to have a go for an hour, doing a bit of mediumship, say, I'd quite willingly sit there. Not that I put myself higher or better than anyone, but another pair of eyes, right? And watch them work and offer help, yeah. One of the things that with what I find, and I like my calling sometimes, is I do a hell of a lot of work with guides, Laurie,
Yes.
Seeing how guides work with people, how they come in, where that breakdown is in the communication. Does that make sense? Or the energies. I see that, and I think sometimes that someone just saying, yeah, okay, right, take a step back. Feel this coming this way. Do it this way. It's as good as an appraisal. It's just another pointer on the road. And that's the thing I said right at the beginning. We should be helping each other as mediums. This is why I love this. We should be there. Do you know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see a forum. You do it. You're good at it. Mediums come together. Shoot the breeze. I've got a problem. Can anyone help me? How do I get a closer connection than this? How do I do that? It's like a little community for mediums because we've got nowhere to go, Laurie.
I've not considered it too much with the online approach, but there's no reason why not to. But I have already made inroads down here physically to have a circle for working mediums where we can all come together and, don't take this the wrong way, anybody. We're not going to have to perform. As a working medium, if you went and sat in an open circle somewhere at a church, everybody will be there going, well, what are you doing? Why are you in here? And that attitude.
Yeah.
I want to create this energy where mediums can get and sit for themselves. And when I apply the term of mediums, I am talking about healers. I am talking about the evidentials, the philosophical, whatever form your mediumship takes.
Spot on. Absolutely spot on. All mediums. I hate this word. You're a healer. No, you're not. You're a medium.
Yeah.
Oh, I only do philosophy. Yeah, well, you're the best medium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I hate this banding that people put themselves in. And I think it's unfair. I think it's unjust. I don't care what someone looks like, how they speak, colour of their skin. I don't care their past. If that person can stand up there and make a connection to spirit, it's genuine, you can feel it, it's helping. To me, they're the greatest medium.
Correct.
What I can't stand is people putting on a pretense. Interestingly, you said about healing, right? And it's something that's great in me. Right?
Just one thing.
Just one thing great in me. Because I've had a chat with you about it before, is we're put into this bands. Oh, they're the medium. Well, so is the healers. You know, the person who cleans a church is just as important. The person who makes tea. Everyone's got the role. It's important. It's a whole thing, part of the machinery that makes the engine work. To yourself and to the guys out here tonight, why is it as mediums we're seen as the figurehead of spiritualism? It's because we deliver a message, right? We get our fees, we get paid. Why don't the healing mediums get paid?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't they get paid? That they do the same journey, right? They turn up, they, you know, it to me, there's these areas of things I don't understand within the spiritual movement. Can you understand that? Yeah.
I do. And this time is allowing us to explore
All through the lockdown.
Yeah, these thoughts about different things. Going back to the comments, wonderful Jack, who is
Hiya,
also,
Jack.
and Jack is a beautiful teacher as well, in case I omitted you earlier on, Mr. Jack. Jack is going to be with us in June from Denmark with Lola and taking a workshop and services and having a little poodle around the English country.
I'm coming.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. You got nowhere to sleep. And he just said, yes, you're talking the same language. I must say a quick hello to a certain person here, Daniela Florio. Daniela popped in last night to watch the program on the near-death experiences. And 2 minutes later, she was actually online with us and talking and made a lot of sense. So, Daniela, welcome.
Hello, Daniela.
For last night. That was one. I'll rephrase that. Thank you for appearing on the program last night. There we go. Arisha, as clear as our own community. Right. We're talking about the soul or spiritual assessments here. As clear as our own communication is at times, it's nice to hear confirmation through another medium's guide. Absolutely, Arisha. Absolutely.
We're human.
That will cement it into place.
We're human. We want that confirmation that takes away any doubt at all that was my imagination. Did I put that word in? You know, and someone else's guide says, actually, you're doing this, you're doing that, do it this way. It helps, you know, it really does. I mean, you know, unfortunately, here's a little point. If I run into problems, I'll be hit rock bottom. I mean, you know yourself, I've had health issues and that, yeah, still have. And I get tired, I get exhausted, and I feel like giving up, walking away. Say I got like that. Where can I turn to, Laurie? Where can I turn to? I can't. Oh, you're a medium. Do you know the thing that annoys me most is when people say, "Our spirit."
Yeah.
Right? I feel like honestly wanting to show them spirit, because it's like, if you say that one more time, you're gonna be a guide, yeah? Because I've reached that point. There is some point through that I've asked spirit 1,000,001 times.
Yeah.
Like Aisha's just said, that's when I can't see a direction. I've lost myself, faith, belief, whatever. And that's where I need that confirmation from someone else's guide.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
there are guys on here, people on here tonight I would trust, because I know they do the job. But someone brings up, I think it was Phil. Hi Phil. Laurie, it's natural teacher yellow. It's to do about looking for a circle. One of the things that goes against us as being a medium, yeah, is that if you turn around and say to someone, "Can I join your circle?" Just sit in your circle for a couple of days. What? You don't need to sit in my circle. You're Bill Rich, you're Laurie Saville, you're Phil Shaw.
Yeah.
No, I'm a human being. Look beyond this. I'm searching. I need that time with spirit to sit in the power, the energy.
Yeah.
They're reluctant to have you in there because, truth, a lot of them think you're going to take over their circle.
Oh God, no.
They seriously do, Laurie. It's like they won't let you in because it's like, you're a working medium.
I have seen cases like that. That's the comment you were referring to from Phil Shaw. That's what I've been looking for. Circle for working mediums. Might have to get one started myself. I think we will. Well, I earnestly pray that we will see the advent now of a lot of probably small circles 3, 4, 5. But working mediums, let's be honest, not everybody gets on with everybody. So I'm not going to elucidate any further than that, but not everybody gets on with everybody. But if you can get 3, 4, or 5 of working mediums, whatever their discipline is, and arrange that circle because obviously the key to any circle is harmony. So it's got to be free of ego. It's got to be free of fear. It's got to be free of all those things. So it would be, to get a larger circle, sadly, you may struggle because these elements will come in. Unconsciously or consciously, it matters not, they would be there. But I think we'll see the advent of a lot of small circles run by mediums, for medium. And in fact, why not have, if you've got 4 mediums, right, Bill, you take the circle this week.
Yeah.
Phil, next week you're taking the circle. Week after, Arisha, you're taking the circle. Week after, I'll take the circle. I mean, how awesome could that be? For us?
I was privileged to sit in a circle. I actually did. I was very lucky, touch wood, many years ago. And I said to a lady, can I come and sit in your circle for a couple of weeks? And she said to me, can I just ask you why? I said, because I need to recharge. I need to feel that energy, that power. Not that I want to work or anything. I just want to feel it. I just want to be recharged. Sitting with people for spirit, with spirit, yeah? Unbeknown to me, she said, yeah, come in. Unbeknown, they were all ex-working mediums. It wasn't, Laurie, I don't think there was one under 70, right?
Well, so you didn't stick out then?
No, I just blended in with the flowers. My God, I'd never sat in a circle so powerful.
Yeah.
There wasn't one person in charge. You know who was in charge? Spirit.
Wonderful.
And they sat there to let spirit inspire, guide, and you could hear knocking, you could hear noises outside the circle. One woman closed her eyes. You could literally see, Phil would know about this, the silvering, the ectoplasmic energy building here.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow. And I said to her, I'd love to sit in this circle. She said, no, Bill, this is our circle for us. The teachings that come out of it, Laurie, was unbelievable. If you can get mediums of good ability to sit together and let spirit do it, where you, like you said, you could say, Laurie, you're in charge this week. Bill, you're in charge. Jack, you're in charge the week after. You each bring to the fore that week a topic, a way.
Yeah.
We can all learn. I think that'd be a brilliant idea. I'd like to see something like that because I would love to sit back in circle again.
Yeah.
I think Mark said the same, didn't he?
I think he did.
Yeah.
Comment here from Michael Bagin. Good evening, sir. Welcome. Energies on different frequencies, so you may not be able to communicate with everyone's loved ones if you cannot tune into that frequency. Unfortunately, that's what hurts mediums. Mediums just have to understand you cannot always communicate.
Yeah.
You know what? That actually works on quite a lot of levels.
Yeah.
We're not just talking the evidential mediumship here. We're looking at actually probably part of our life path, because we're always the ones to be the healer, to go in there and do the job. Then sometimes we get a little bit frustrated when we feel we can't.
Yeah. I think on that level, I think that's a brilliant, Michael, I think that's a brilliant question there and an explanation as well, because it asks so many questions. Energies on different frequencies. The harmonics and the energies that spirit work on is that harmonic line. It has to be able to balance with the medium.
Yeah.
Right? There's no two ways about it. That's how guides work. They work on building that harmonics. And once it stabilizes and you're on that level, spirit then become the suppliers of the energy. Right? And as we grow, we can raise our vibrations. Spirit will raise them more, and so we can go into deeper entranced states, different levels of working with spirit, especially from healing to evidential to philosophy, for whatever side. if you cannot tune in, I think this is where the problem lies. to get that good harmonizing of energies with spirit, it takes time. It takes time. 30 years I worked, they're still balancing them energies.
Yeah,
I think we get this sometimes when we do a message. I'm just using purely a message as evidence. Like you think, oh my God, I might as well be that person talking. I might as well be their dad or mum talking. You've become that person, totally unaware of your own body and everything, just their life. The harmony, the balancing was perfect. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Healers are the greatest exponents of it, right? The healing mediums, because spirit are harmonizing to adjust with the medium and to adjust to the person the healing's going to. So there is always this harmonizing and balancing of energies. Unfortunately, I think sometimes when you say that's what hurts mediums, mediums have to understand you can't always communicate. I agree, but a lot of them get carried away with themselves, thinking that they can just call upon all these energies willy-nilly. It takes time to build up with it. And I think some of the guys out here might, and yourself, Michael, might recognize that spirit's energy, if it's unbalanced, is very, very uncomfortable.
Hugely.
Right? It is terrible. It can lead to terrible headaches. It can lead to terrible pressure at the head, the ears. It can make you sick.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're like that, you're no good to anybody. But what can happen is you can turn around and say to spirit, that was too strong. Tone it down until they find you're comfortable with it. Or actually, I couldn't feel that. Can you make it stronger? So harmonizing of energies is, and that comes from the guides. It comes from the basics of working with the guides, because once you get used to it with the guides, they will control the energy of how someone else comes in a message. They will control how the energy comes in whatever you do with spirit, in any form of mediumship. Sorry, I like that question.
Yeah, no, it's lovely. Picking up on the healing reference here from the wonderful Jack. So true. Spiritual healing is the purest aspect of mediumship, and it is sad to hear when people say, I'm just a healer.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Totally agree, Jack.
Chloe, I think I've said it to you I said it to you before a million times. If someone said to me, pick the strongest mediums to me are the healers.
Yep.
I think they're the strongest mediums. It is unconditional, a use of body to be used for the benefit of someone else to receive beneficial, right? And they can work from phenomenal levels. Something else about with the healers. The healers, you think they train. They have to pass certifications. They have to pass a panel to say, you are able to do this job. Evidential mediums don't. Anytime Dick and Harry can come in and be an evidential medium or say they are, healers have to pay for it and show their papers to say, I can do it. I just want to say that with the healers, because I think if you turn around and said, to people when they say, I want to be a platform medium, oh, right, yeah, you've got to do 2 years undertaking study and pass a panel. You see a lot of people walk away from it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't pursue it. But the healers, they say, yeah, fine. I'll spend 2 years of my life studying for that. Yeah, 100% top mediums.
Brilliant. So I'm just going through the comments here because they're flowing thick and fast. Daniela was just commenting that she herself has run several months a circle for working mediums. And where are we? Michael Bagan again. When we're teaching mediumship, teachers should also talk about the pitfalls within mediumship, the loneliness and the times it doesn't work.
Yeah.
The honesty. I had that. What all mediums dread.
No.
Oh, yes. The stand up there and nothing.
Oh, yes.
Hand on heart, I turned around and I said, I'm really sorry. I am not getting anything. I could. No, not I could, because I couldn't. But the option would be to many in that case to sort of like fudge their way through. And that is not an option that I would have taken.
I've only ever seen it once.
Very uncomfortable.
Very, very lovely medium. Loved her to bits. Beautiful medium. Stood up there and said, I'm ever so sorry I haven't got anything. I'm not prepared to stand here and give you something I've not got.
Yeah.
So they said, oh, they stood up and they gave her a round of applause.
No, I do. I got hymn books thrown at me.
Well, I'd throw the hymn books anyway. You know what I mean? But I bought my own supply to actually do that when we come down in April. I believe Jack sent me some as well. Leave it to me, Jack. I'll stir it.
Talking of Jack, under the Danish Spiritualist Association, which Jack is the president of, we do practice platforms open to working mediums with an opportunity to challenge your mediumship and have feedback on it.
I like that.
Yeah, so do I. I think that's, yeah.
I like that.
The thing I love about teaching is that I always learn something. I have never done a circle, or I'm doing some one-to-one mentorship at the moment, which is very interesting. But every time I'm working with these energies, I learn something as well, which I absolutely adore. Because, you know, like I know all the mediums, whatever disposition you are in the room tonight, we all want to progress. You know, this thing about, I said to somebody once at an open platform, I said, why don't you go up? And they went, but I'm a medium, I don't need to. And I was like, a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I saw that once. I wouldn't say they were years and years and years into their mediumship, but I did see something like that once, yeah. And I saw something that I thought was hilarious at the time. Yes, I'm being told this. Yes, I'm being told that. Yes, I'm being told this. And the person said, so you hear spirit then? And they went, well, yes, of course I do. What's her name? Oh, she's not telling me, but she can tell you everything, but can't tell me her name. And it was like, I thought, oh, this is going to get it. And he went, you're being impressed, my dear. You're not being told, you're being impressed. There's a big difference between hearing and being impressed. And I thought, how wonderful. And she come down and she said, thank you for that. I thought I was actually hearing it. She said, no, you're being impressed to what to say. And it was she shook his hand, and I thought, how wonderful. I've never seen anything like it since.
Yeah. Our terminology can sometimes trip us up, can't it?
Yes,
because
terminology.
I will often say, oh, I'm hearing. I don't hear it. It's just there. It's like a memory that's being impressed upon me. But in our terminology from the platform, we tend to say, oh, I'm hearing this or I'm seeing that, whereas actually it is being impressed upon you. However, how do you turn that round for the congregation's benefit? Do you say, I'm being impressed with, you know, it's, that's a program all by itself.
Can I just ask you, Jamie Williams put up a lovely
that was the next on the list.
Excuse me. What is it? There's no universally accepted training or certification for evidential mediums other than the SNU. Good one. I'm actually with the ISM, Institute of Spiritual Mediums, and my accreditation is RAM, Registered Approved Medium. I did, before the panel there, who were marking me my presentations, my evidence, my address work, all of these things, and I actually got accreditation from them. Now, it don't make me any better than any other medium, but what it does do, it does give me the opportunity to say at some point, I did sit for accreditation where I was deemed to be able to do the job. Yeah. And that you know, that's displayed when I do my readings from home and etc. It's there. It's in a lovely little display there. I agree with you, and I agree with what Phil said, that, you know, should we be accredited? We are the most unregulated thing there is. Everything else is regulated. Should we? I think we should. I think we should, you know, but the problem is, here's the question. Who's going to judge you?
Yeah.
This is where it falls down. Who's going to judge you? Because the first thing people will say is, who the hell are you to judge me? I've been working 50 years. You've only been working 5. We fall into this category. I think we open a door there, a serious door there. Yeah, I believe that we should be accredited with certification to say this is what we do. You know?
I fully agree that there should be the options there for accreditation. It shows if somebody has that accredited. I'll give you an example, coming away from evidential mediumship, but going into something far, far more dangerous. Recently, there was an advertisement. I've got to be careful how I say this. So, there was an advertisement advertising as part of the day hypnotherapy sessions. Somebody asked me, would this be a good idea for where I am at the moment? So with a little bit of searching against all the names that are big, there was not one accreditation anywhere regarding hypnosis. You know, we had the lovely Fiona and Poole Parry Dodd down here. They are fully accredited hypnotherapists, everything. They've got all their certification, as do many, many others. And, you know, being human and Lawrence and a bit crude here, if I had spent all that time and money to get that accreditation, I would have it tattooed on my backside. It would be everywhere. You know, and you're seeing people advertising these services, and we need to do just a little bit of digging. And especially because the person who asked me is in a very delicate state. Yeah. And I had to be very honest and say, I can't find any accreditation, and I really feel like you should not be letting anybody that's not verified dig around in your emotions at this time, because that could be catastrophic for you.
It's dangerous.
It is.
But then Tim's just said.
I've just seen Tim's.
Yeah.
You do look the numbers up.
I'll do your job for you anyway. No, it ties in with it, Laurie. There is a place. So that brings it down to people have a choice.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know this. I've learned that tonight. Thank you, Tim, for pointing it out.
Tim.
And I didn't know this place existed.
Mm.
You know, and I didn't mean to cut across you, Laurie, by the way. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm used to it talking to you all this time.
You are so dead when I come down to April. You're going to need some good healers.
No, but I think it boils down to several discussions that I've had with various mediums who I hold in very high regard. And the topic of conversation has always gone along the line of about, if you are serious about your mediumship, you will do X, Y, Z. And I think this is part and parcel of that. You know, we have got some amazing workers for spirit in the room tonight. I'm always so touched when you join us here, and I'm not blowing smoke. I don't need to. You know how much I think of you all. But you've all gone that distance, you know, to get that accreditation, to get that diploma, whatever. You've gone that dedication, you know, you've gone that route, because that's how serious you regard your mediumship, however that transpires, be it evidential, healing, whatever. You have gone through that process, and it's something I think we need to look for, and especially with our teachers. You know, if you are going to entrust your link with the spirit world to be developed, then you want the best. to teach you. And one of the signs that these people are in the best is the fact that they have gone that route to get an accreditation, diplomas, whatever, but an officially recognized certification. And that says they are serious about their mediumship. And if they're serious about their mediumship, they're going to be serious about their they're going to be serious about the way they teach you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you, Tim. That's wonderful. And Tim will be down with us this year with some spiritual assessments. How nice. This is coming together.
I carry on from saying on that. Everything I've learned about spirit, a large percentage it has come from spirit, right? And for that I am really blessed, because not only did my circle leader teach me how to do clairvoyance, yeah, she taught me how to talk to spirit. That's the difference. And I feel blessed that I can ask spirit something and get a question. Now, I don't know everything. I'm always learning. And that's the beauty of my journey. This is, yeah. When I look at what's happening now, the danger signs are there. Like you said with the hypnotherapy, no certification, etc. You got people doing soul retrieval, taking people into trance, promising, come and meet your 1001 guides, yeah? Right? Come and meet your guide from Pluto, and far out things. And people are falling for it, right? Because it's got this enticing name or something about it. Mediumship, when we go back to circles, might sound boring, circle, but it's the best grounding and knowledge and teaching you can get.
Yeah.
Right? All these 5-minute wonders, you know, Lucy Moonbeam, rainbow, tree hugging, grass eating person. Yes. Right. Oh. Come and sit with me. I will teach you how to link with pink elephants and grab shooting stars. Right. Great. You get a 5-minute thrill. Tell me what it does for you in 5 years' time. Right? And people are falling for it. And it's almost like people don't like, it's not the old-fashioned, they don't like the old-fashioned name circle. But you come for a spiritual soul awakening ceremony, they flock to it because it sounds much better. And this is where I think we have trouble putting over that what we learn. I mean, look at the mediums on here tonight. They're all grounded. They've all been taught the old traditional way. If you counted up how many years some of us have been working on it, it done half run into some, Laurie. Why? We've stood the test of time. It must be right. Does that make sense?
It does.
And I think people out there, you know, should be very, very careful. If someone said to me, oh, I'm going to do past life regression, soul retrieval, blah, 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 I would say to them, check out who they are.
Exactly. Yeah.
Check out what they got. Check out what their insurances and liabilities are. Because they're playing with your emotions, your life.
Yeah. This time, we've seen so many different practices appear on our social media feeds and everything. Things I'd heard of, never really investigated. Things I'd never heard of and probably will never investigate or whatever. The one, to me, area that is lacking with all these. I'll give you an example. We have had a number of shamanic practitioners talk to us, and it's a subject I found absolutely fascinating. I've had my own evidence. One of my old circle leaders always used to say, where's the evidence? And I've always stuck by that. I had my own evidence of that, but I still realize that all these different philosophies, ways of approaching your spirituality, they've all got the one common thread in them, that they all link in with the divine. And it's that part, sadly, that is being omitted.
Yes.
And I think, I'm all for anything to people want to link in with their spirituality, great. But in tandem with that is that understanding of whatever philosophy, whatever way, whatever practice you want to follow, it's further evidence of the divinity within all things. All things come from source, all things come from God. Sorry, I'm tapping now. And that's the part that's being left out. We're seeing some of these practices, that is the nadir, that is the end point of everything. And it's not, it's just the same light for a different window.
Well, if you stood there and actually asked many people from evenings of clairvoyance, etc., when you was at school, what did you have to do? Assembly, right? What did you have to do? You had to sing songs. You had RE, yeah? In this day and age now, Christianity, you can't just teach Christianity at school. There's a multitude of different faiths, so it's religious education in a different way. How many can actually recite the Lord's Prayer?
Mm.
How many times do you hear someone mention the word God? It's almost like at times, as someone said to me, it was interesting, they said this to me, the word God is almost like a dirty word now.
Sadly, you do see it omitted a lot.
Yeah, you see it omitted quite a lot, and it's, it comes from source. Whatever your God be, however you perceive God to be, it comes from a greater source, the divine source.
The God of your own understanding.
Exactly. And no matter which way you practice it, whichever name you give it, it still comes from that source of God. Laurie, there is nothing new in spiritualism, right? There is nothing new in spiritualism. There's no new books. There's no new things. The only thing that can change is the teachings of spirit. And look at our teachers from the past. Great teachings. Why? Because it comes from spirit for spirit, right?
Yeah, but I must say there are some absolutely, how do I put this? There are a number of people in our movement who have great potential.
Yes.
To be the teachers of today. They really do. Some absolutely wonderful people. Go over to the comments for a short while here. Jack Eckhart is just saying about Martin Coldcloth. This is regarding getting accreditation training. Spiritual Fellowship and the Fox Pioneer Centre. So there are these bodies out there. They may all be, if you see, we have this paradox the other week. If I learnt healing from one organisation, I couldn't transpose that to another organisation.
Yeah.
However, in our mediumship, Darren Turner, who's in the room tonight, he has set up his own training academy, which is fully accredited, which is, hats off to the chap. Absolutely beautiful. Once you have that accredited diploma, that is then a generic diploma that you can produce wherever and whenever you serve. We have a comment here from a lovely Tim. I love Tim's comment. I do. I really like them. You speak about teachers as they're the weird and wacky, but we also have to remember that there has to be a responsibility by the student. You wouldn't just give anybody the right to look after your child in the same way. Why would we just give anybody the right to look after our mediumship? Absolutely, Tim. Absolutely. We need to ask the questions. We've become, because of our society and our culture, an easy sell, haven't we? An advert comes on telly and tomorrow you've gone out and bought the car.
Yeah.
And then we get an advert pop up on Facebook and tomorrow you've just gone and signed up on the course.
But doesn't that come down to the old adage, recommendation is the best advertisement?
Yeah.
There are people I would recommend to go and sit with. There are people I know that can do that. I know some fantastic healing mediums who teach. I would recommend anyone doing it. I have that ability to say, go to that person. To the person who's looking for something, I would say to them, go and find out who the person is you're going to see.
Yeah.
And exercise your will and free will. And if you don't feel comfortable, get out of it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, word of mouth.
Darren Turner, you learn the foundations of mediumship, which takes time and dedication. Indeed, Darren. Indeed, indeed.
I think it takes 3 Ds: dedication, discipline, and devotion. And you're going to be reminding yourself of that all through the rest of your life.
Indeed. I did say earlier on, I really loved Tim's comments. Can I change that? Is it too late with some editing? I can take that part out. Anyway, I'm joking, Tim. Laurie, you speak of evidence. What for you is the definition of evidence? To me, Tim, the definition of evidence is when I have been on the receiving end of either healing or listening to trance philosophy or evidential messages, that it's alive.
Yeah, go on with that.
It's alive and it's part of me. When I feel it, to me, that is the evidential side. You know, you get those golden moments in our path as an evidential medium. I was working just recently with somebody, and somebody turned around and said, I can feel them. And I thought, brilliant, you know, because that is the evidence. We can present the facts, we can present the figures, almost like a shopping list, you know, 6'2", eyes are blue, broad-shouldered, narrow waist. You can present all that. But when you bring through that essence of the and that can be achieved in one word, just one word. I was in my early days struggling and, you know, being very self-critical. I was really working hard with somebody and I went, give me something they will understand. And I went, pineapple. And that was it. That link was made. You know, we link with spirit, in my estimation, my lowly estimation, we link with spirit. But I think our job as an evidential medium or a healing medium is to link the recipient with that spirit and feel what we feel. Because when we say, you know, oh, they're saying they love you, they're not saying to me, tell them I love her. You just get woof. You get a tipper truck of love suddenly dump on you. And that's what you... So to meet him is when I feel the spirit. That to me is the evidence. And that's given through the mediumship of others.
I'm laughing, right? Not at you, Laurie, trust me. I'm laughing because I think that is such a good question. Cheers, Tim. I really like that question.
I love coming on because his questions are brilliant.
When you did the right questions, what constitutes evidence? I've seen evidence through trance that is indisputable, right? Nothing will change that. I've seen it and heard it through mediums, philosophy, when they've been in trance. I've seen that. I have felt spirit's presence through healing, for all this, and it is undeniable. You can feel spirit's energy.
Yeah.
Think I believe in that when spirit talk through the medium properly, I don't mean by building a voice box or anything like that. I mean in the evidence, yeah. You will get information. And I have, this is only me, I have a saying now that they can't give me their history. They can't give me a fax. They can't send me a text. But they can give me their memories. And when you get that melding and gelling of two energies, spirits and yours, you become that person. And the evidence that comes out is unbelievable. And I found it tends to start with the description. I have this person, height, build, facial features, etc., the conditions that they had physically, how they passed, where they passed. You would think that might constitute evidence, yeah? And then they say something like, you was three of you sitting by my bed. I was holding your hand, you was holding mine. I couldn't speak. And you sit there and think, where are you getting this from? Does that make sense? you know, and there is evidence. But I say there's two ways of hearing evidence: hear with your ears, and hear in the heart.
Yeah.
And when spirit talks, it has a resignation that touches from the inside. To me, evidence. I give you I'm going to say this. Sorry, I'm going to say it. Right. We run a danger. We've always had this from 30, 40 years ago about psychics, yeah? And evidential spiritual. Psychics have always been around. They always will be around. And they're very good.
Yeah.
They could say to you, yes, you got up this morning, you put on your brown shoes, right? And you walked out and you tripped over the front step. You got a graze on your elbow. And you said, how the hell do you know that? Your car didn't start. You done this. You spent 50 quid down at Asda's. Wow, brilliant. Yeah, your nan's telling me. Right? I leave it with you. That person goes out and says, my God, that was brilliant. But if you sat there and spirit come through and they describe Nan, and Nan says, oh, by the way, I saw you put your shoes on. You didn't pick your feet up walking out the door. You've done this. You've now got evidence because you've described the person and give evidence of that person. And they're giving you evidence of showing what that person sees around you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There is evidence and there is evidence. There's circumstantial evidence that people believe is top notch. And there is evidence and proof of survival is like the personality, their passing conditions, their life, them, the person, their self. There's a saying that I have, and it says, let us speak. And that's what I try and teach my students. Let spirit speak, because that's how the evidence comes.
Yeah.
Get out the way of the message. Don't put your mind into it. Let it happen. It will flow through you, in through here and out through there. And that's where the evidence comes. Where it goes wrong is the person gets in the way and tries to add on, ad lib.
Yeah. You're
Missing
shown a
service.
fish and you say cod.
Yeah.
You're not. You were shown a fish.
Yeah.
Just say fish. Don't make it into a bream or a cod or an octopus. It's fish.
It's
That's
fish,
all
yeah.
you need to do. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Abbott. Where are we? Sorry, there was one there I just wanted to pick up on. Oh, there we go. I was going to ask the lovely Tim, what is his definition? And he's already put it in there. You must be very psychic, Tim.
Don't tell him that.
For me, the definition of evidence is the expression of the intelligence, the presence, and the personality of that communicating spirit. Yeah. And that word, intelligence, this is
That's
something...
the word. Intelligent, sentient, isn't it? Being alive.
Exactly. And sadly, that's not being taught in every occasion. It's almost like, spirit is like a bit of a balloon, a balloon on a string at the end of your arm. Yeah. This is an intelligent person. This is an intelligence that you can communicate with and have that two-way conversation with. Something I'm trying to bring into my mediumship is getting a little update of what are they doing now? What are they doing in this life between lives? And it's so interesting when you work on that aspect, because it became an additional part of evidence for the message I was doing. And I said, she's very much engaged. I've established the identity with the sitter, given the usual communication without belittling it. And I said, what are you doing now? And it came back that she was working, supporting nurses at this time, because it was during the height of the COVID pandemic. And she's working, supporting nurses from, as she put it, behind the scenes. And this chap turned around and went, my God, he said, yes. He said, don't ask me how I know, but yes, I know she's doing that.
Yeah.
That isn't, and I just thought, oh, I love this. I love this little aspect. Bill, sir, you have been going.
One note.
You
Can I
have
just leave something on one note? Just a really quick one.
Go on in.
When people say to me, "Oh, I didn't know you were like that," I go, "Like what?" "Oh, you speak to dead people." I hear that. You hear that? We all do, yeah.
Yes.
And I go, "I do it every day." And they go, "What? You talk to dead people every day?" I go, "Yeah, I'm talking to you today, ain't I?" And they go, "What do you mean?" I said, "I've never ever spoke to a dead person. I've spoke to a person who's evolved to a higher understanding, a higher way of life, but they're not dead. They're more alive than we are."
Yeah.
Right? And I agree with Tim. The intelligence, they are alive, sentient being,
Yeah.
only not in physical form.
And they actually want the best for us because they haven't got any ego, any drums to beat, or anything like that. Bill, what a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. And thank you, Celia, in the background. I know she's there. Thank you, everybody who's joined in for your comments. Sorry, I've not got around to all of them. That's not cherry picking the comments. It's just the volume of them. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me, Laurie.
Could you rephrase that, dear?
Thank you for letting me come on here tonight, then, yeah. We might be getting a hotel, Celia.
As I say, Bill is down with us in 4 weeks today. So you'll be doing... Oh, no, you won't. There'll be a recorded evening that evening because you're working in the church, aren't you? What have we got coming up? Next week, we will have a Lyceum night. And this is incredibly cheeky because I've not actually asked him, but he's in the room.
Right.
As the wonderful Darren Turner is staying here at Poole overnight to take our service the next day, we may well have a Lyceum night with Darren Turner. If not, I know a number of people only too willing to take part in these nights. But we will have a Lyceum.
Darren. If you do it, Darren, give him an elbow in the ribs for me, will you?
Don't. He's massive. He's up here somewhere.
Oh, I'm standing on a chair if I ever meet him then.
One of the few people I have to look up to when I'm talking. It's really off-putting.
You know how I feel as a shorty.
Oh, never mind. You chose that on your life pass. Don't bring it back on. Everybody, thank you so much. Lovely connecting with you all. Hope we've been stirred and invigorated some thoughts and ideas. So, you know, if you didn't agree with some of the stuff tonight, do you know what? That is beautiful because that means you've got your own thinking. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Will we see you all again? Have a very good night, everybody. Take care.